Most women will never say it with words, but their body will. The way she looks at you, then looks away. The way she creates moments that feel charged, but says nothing. What she's really saying is simple. If you knew how to read me, you'd already be kissing me. But most men miss it. They hesitate. They overthink. They talk when they should act. They wait for a clear sign, not realizing that desire doesn't speak clearly. It shows up in silence and tension. And when you miss that moment, you don't just lose the kiss. You lose the spark, the momentum, the night that could have changed everything. Machiavelli taught that real power comes from sensing what others want before they say it. With women, that power shows up in silence, hesitation, and subtle tension. And how you handle it decides if she remembers you or forgets you like the rest. This video gives you 7 clear signals that she's waiting for you to make a move, and the exact mindset and response you need when it happens. No vague theories, no pickup lines. Each response is strategic, grounded, and seductive, without ever being pushy. And once you know them, you'll never be stuck in hesitation again. Let's begin. Here's the first signal. The moment that quietly reveals she's already opened the door. The lingering gaze that ends in closeness, not distance. Most men misunderstand eye contact. They think it's about directness, confidence, or some weird staring contest. But the kind of eye contact that matters is the one she breaks first and still stays close. This is primal. When she looks at you, then glances down or away, but her body doesn't move or even gets closer. She's signaling attraction without exposing herself emotionally. Because women aren't taught to say, "I want you to make a move." They're taught to show just enough and see if you catch it. Machiavelli would have told you, power rarely speaks in full volume. It prefers to whisper, to suggest, to wait and watch who acts on it. So when she holds the gaze, then breaks it, and still stays in the space, you've already been given permission. The common mistake? Breaking the tension too fast, making a joke, looking away nervously, trying to fill the silence. Here's what to do instead. Hold your frame. Let the silence sit between you. Then slowly lean in, not with your body, but with your energy. Lower your voice. Say something like, "You're not saying much, but I feel like you're thinking something." And then, stop. Don't explain. Don't clarify. Don't smile too wide. Let her energy rise toward yours. Let her curiosity fill the gap. Let her body reveal what her mouth won't. Because once she knows you can read between the lines, she'll stop hiding what's behind them. Here's the second signal, the one that most men miss because they're too busy thinking the conversation is over. She lingers after the goodbye moment, saying nothing, just staying. You've finished your drink. You've both said, "Well, I should probably..." The moment feels wrapped, but she's still there. She hasn't walked away. She hasn't reached for her phone. She hasn't changed her posture like someone who's truly leaving. She's paused, waiting for you to either rise to the moment or fall back into the safe guy category. This is where the game shifts, because she won't say, "I'm waiting for you to do something." She'll simply make space and see if you fill it. This is the feminine way of escalating without words. And if you don't act, you teach her you're not the man to lead the dance. As one philosopher of power might put it, when the stage clears and only 2 remain, what you do in that quiet determines what she'll remember when she's alone. What most men do, they rush, they overtalk, they miss the gravity of the moment. What you do instead, slow your breath, lower your voice, and say something that acknowledges the tension without forcing it. Try. Feels like neither of us is really trying to leave. Then pause. Let her body answer before her words. Maybe she steps closer. Maybe she smiles. Maybe she says, "I'm not." Now you move, not because you're chasing, but because you read the invitation in her stillness. And that's when she feels safe letting go. Because you didn't push. You just responded, like a man who understands timing. Here's the third signal. The one her body gives away before her mouth even catches up. Physical contact that doesn't need to happen, but keeps happening anyway. She adjusts your sleeve, touches your arm when she laughs, leans in just a bit too close when the room isn't that loud, lets her legs stay near yours when she could have shifted. These aren't accidents. They're soft invitations, quiet, calculated attempts to cross a boundary while pretending it never happened. Because if you don't notice, she protects her ego. And if you do, and hold the moment, she knows she's found a man who can handle the tension. Machiavelli might have framed it this way. Power doesn't always arrive with a sword. Sometimes it knocks with bare hands and waits for you to open the door. This is where most men destroy the frame. They either freeze and say nothing, or they overreact, turning the moment into a joke, or escalating too fast and breaking the subtlety. Here's what to do instead. Let the contact land. Feel it. Notice it. Let her watch you process it in real time, not with your words, but with your calm. When a woman touches you without needing to, she's testing your composure, not your desire. If you flinch, you fail. If you overindulge, you reveal you're easy to move. But if you stay grounded, still, observant, she knows you're the kind of man who doesn't get thrown off by beauty. Because her touch wasn't the move. It was the test before the move. And when you pass it without trying to pass it, she moves closer on her own. Here's the fourth signal. One that feels confusing if you don't speak her language. She teases you, pushes back lightly, calls you out playfully, but never actually distances herself. She'll say you're a little full of yourself. She'll question something you said, with a smirk. She'll roll her eyes, then lean in again seconds later. To the untrained eye, it looks like she's unsure. But if you pay attention to the rhythm, you'll see it's not resistance. It's ritual. She's not trying to stop you. She's trying to see if you're stable enough to keep going. Machiavelli would have told you, before they surrender to your lead, they'll test your certainty. If you flinch at challenge, you were never worthy of the crown. This is what most men misunderstand. They try to explain themselves. They shift into defense mode. They abandon the tension and try to prove they're safe. And in doing so, they fail the one test that mattered. Here's what to do instead. Stand still in the storm. Let her playful resistance bounce off you. Don't fight it. Don't fix it. Let her see that your confidence doesn't crack just because she's being clever. You're not threatened. You're entertained. When you show her you're unmoved, she starts moving differently around you. The tease becomes more intimate. The sarcasm gets softer. The tension escalates. Not because you forced it, but because you didn't collapse under it. Because in her world, most men try to please. Very few know how to remain unchanged. And that stillness, that's what makes her want to stir the fire even more. Here's the fifth signal, the one that sounds casual on the surface, but reveals everything underneath. She brings up her emotional availability, but never directly asks for yours. She'll say she's done with games. She'll mention she hasn't felt this way in a while. She'll hint that she's single, not in a bold way, but in a vulnerable, almost accidental one. She'll let something slip, a story that exposes her desire for connection or her fear of being misunderstood. That's not just storytelling, that's positioning. She's opening the door, carefully, quietly, to see if you have the emotional dexterity to step through it without needing an invitation. Let's put it like this. A man of strategy doesn't wait for the gate to open. He notices when the guard lowers her eyes. This moment isn't about logic. It's about intuition. She's creating a fork in the road. One path leads to rapport and surface connection. The other, into intimacy, heat, and unspoken truths. The mistake average men make? They treat her words at face value. They nod, relate, say me too. They try to seem emotionally intelligent, but end up sounding like therapists. And in doing so, they miss the entire undercurrent of invitation through exposure. Let's reframe. What's your move here? You don't fix. You don't offer advice. You don't start unloading your own traumas like she asked for them. You observe. You hold the frame. You let her feel that her emotional hints didn't throw you off. They just gave you more leverage to shape the conversation. You escalate, not with words, but with presence. You listen with your eyes, not just your ears. You react with calm, not pity. Because when a woman starts to emotionally disrobe, she's not looking for a reaction. She's looking to see if you can handle the part of her that's never been touched. And if you stay grounded, if you don't flinch, that's the moment she stops thinking about your looks, your resume, your status, and starts wondering what it would feel like to fall into you completely. Here's the sixth signal, and it's the most delicate, most loaded, most decisive moment of them all. She says she should leave, but her body tells a different story. You've had the talk, the laughs, the connection. You both know the clock is ticking. She stands, looks toward the door, maybe even glances at her phone, and then she just stands there. Not frozen, not confused, just waiting. Not for you to beg, not for you to offer another drink, but for you to read the moment like a man who understands female energy better than she understands it herself. She's saying she should go, not because she wants to, but because she wants to see what you'll do when the rules say exit, but the vibe says stay. As a master of subtle power might say, the most dangerous moment isn't when she leans in. It's when she hesitates at the threshold, silently asking you to rewrite the ending. Here's what most men do. They nod, say goodnight, walk her to the door like a gentleman. They follow the script and miss the chance to write their own. You're not most men, so what's the elevated play? You do nothing for a second. You let the silence expand. You let her feel that you're still fully there, unshaken, watching. No persuasion, no performance, just awareness. You hold your frame like this isn't the end, because her body's already told you it doesn't want it to be. And if she still stays, that's when you know she's not testing you anymore. She's hoping you'll stop hesitating, so she doesn't have to make the move herself. Here's the seventh and final signal. The moment she creates a subtle loop to keep you around. Just a little longer. It's not loud. It's not obvious. It's soft and loaded. She says something like, "Text me when you get home," or she forgets something by accident, or she follows up with a meme the next day that clearly wasn't urgent. It's not about logistics. It's about reopening the door without risking rejection. This isn't her chasing you. It's her trying to extend the energy without sacrificing her pride. Because a woman in feminine energy rarely says, "I want more." She says, "If you want more, I wouldn't stop you." And that distinction? That's where men with no frame get lost, and men with inner command take control. Machiavelli would have told you, a woman rarely offers you the final move, but she'll create just enough space for you to step into, if you have the awareness to see it. What most men do, they miss the signal. They respond casually, politely, and in doing so, they break the spell. Because feminine energy needs tension to grow, not resolution. So what's the move here? You let her leave with a question in her chest. You let the loop she's creating stay slightly open. You don't flood her with comfort. You don't tie the bow. You let her want more. And that's when you stop being the guy she spent time with and become the man her mind starts to orbit, long after she left. Because obsession doesn't begin with the best words or even the best timing. It begins when she realizes she's still thinking about you, and she's not sure why. If you've made it here, you're already beyond the crowd. You're not a man who needs rules. You're a man learning how to move through signals, not instructions. Because women don't speak desire. They express it. In glances that linger too long, in silences that beg to be held, in that soft hesitation between goodbye and what could have happened. And most men miss it, not because they're weak, but because they never trained themselves to feel what isn't said. But you're different now. You're not waiting to be told what to do. You're learning to read the room, the moment, the woman, like someone who belongs in charge. So here's what you take with you. Don't interrupt the silence just because it feels heavy. Don't rush the moment just because it's open. And never ask for what's already being offered in her body language. Because the rarest kind of man isn't the loudest, the fastest, or the boldest. It's the one who moves with precision while others hesitate. She doesn't want performance. She wants presence. She wants to be led, not pushed. And when you step forward at the right time, without forcing, without asking, you don't just stand out. You become the experience she never saw coming and can't forget. So stop doubting. You don't need to be louder. You just need to be sharper. Let the world chase noise. You move in silence and let everything else follow. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.